at the Value City Arena. Here's Paul Glynn. His dad, Paul, wrestled for Iowa. He's a sophomore, been a journeyman. It's his opportunity to keep the ball rolling after Lee's upset. Luke Pletcher, the sophomore, what a great freshman year. Bumped up to 141 because of the injury to their starter, and now back at 133. He looks tough there, undefeated.
Yeah, Luke Pletcher's been pretty good. He just raised up in my evaluation. He came out to a Johnny Cash song.
A walkout song for Luke Pletcher, undefeated.
Good luck, guys.
Always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns. He's got some guns.
Well, you can carry a tune, and right now, Pletcher needs to carry the tune of getting the Buckeyes back on track after their champion was just upset at 125, giving the surging Hawkeyes a lot of momentum here going into 133.
Yeah, Pletcher's got to, again, arrest the momentum, and Glynn is one of those guys, the journeyman there for the Hawkeyes. Dad was an All-American. There, Paul Glynn. And, you know, he's just Pletcher's, as you mentioned, that this season he had, particularly with the big win at the Vegas tournament. You know, it just followed it up with good, solid wrestling. Hasn't been, you know, a bonus point machine like you'd like to see, but you know what? He's just so tough. I mean, you know, we saw last year with the size of his legs are just so powerful. I don't know what this young man can deadlift, but he is just got his lower body and his power frame, you know, and he could go ahead and get that working for him. Plus, he's also got amazing flexibility when a guy gets on his leg, much like what we saw with Spencer Lee.
Luke Pletcher is a top-ranked recruit coming out of Pennsylvania, three-time state champion. He's a true sophomore. As you mentioned, Jim, he won the Cliff King Las Vegas Championship, beat 3 ranked wrestlers in a row in the quarters, the semis, and the finals from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, Greater Latrobe High School.
And what he doesn't do a lot of, he doesn't push, all right? You know, with that big power frame and pushing guys in the shot, oh, nice little slide by right there. He felt just enough of a push by Glynn to go ahead and get that technique, but he doesn't really take a lot of territory in his matches. I think later on in his career, when you see him really coming into form, is I think you'll see him do that and kind of maybe force more bad shots out of his opponent.
Okay. Gotta let me know. Okay, gotta let me know. How are we gonna start?
Referee Mike Haggerty.
Okay, set.
One of the best in the business, Mike Haggerty, former coach at Central Missouri College coach, high school coach at Blue Springs, and Hall of Fame official Mike Haggerty on the whistle.
Good job by Pletcher just covering there. See them immediately into a grip. Good job by Glynn hand fighting. You see how he's got his nose over the toes, and that's an indicator that you go forward with that trip, and that's what Glynn did. Kind of a release. And here's what I'm talking about, where Pletcher can go ahead and snap down and really engage that lower body when guys shoot it on his legs. It's very difficult for guys to go ahead and keep locks around his legs.
Well, there's something going on here, too, just from a momentum standpoint, from a point standpoint. Pletcher looking to try to see if he can build a major decision, getting it started here at 4-1 in the first period.
Here the official, Mike Haggerty, talking about the ankle right there. Do not take it outside. You can see his the ankle's kind of drifting a little bit outside, but this is putting a lot of pressure on Glynn. We saw this a couple weeks ago, or last week, with Zane Rutherford, when he was really working that bow and arrow technique, and it really requires the top man to put a lot of pressure on that ankle.
Good look there at Paul Glynn, the sophomore out of Bettendorf, Iowa, Bettendorf High School. Same high school his dad wrestled at in high school, and they both got the black and gold going, both from a high school standpoint and a college standpoint, Bettendorf and the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Good close of the match there by Pletcher, staying in the top position.
Luke Pletcher out in front, 4-1, minute 21 riding time, 19-0 this year. Started last year at 133, had to bump up to 141. A good look at Tom Ryan. What a program that Tom has built here. 12th season at Ohio State. Did about a dozen years at Hofstra. two-time All-American, wrestled for Dan Gable at Iowa, roommate of Terry Brands all the years he was there. And the Brands brothers and Ryan, out of the same mold, tremendous relationships between those guys.
Certainly, and you know, you'd sit there and say about Tom Ryan's career. 2 Big Ten championships, an NCAA championship a couple years ago, and you sit there and go, he's only got 1 win against the Hawkeyes during that time frame.
Right, the Hawkeyes have won 38 out of the last 39 against Ohio State.
That was in 2012, I believe, when the Stieber boys were freshmen.
Guys, come on.
Logan's about a couple rows back from us right now, taking this in.
Logan Stieber, the 4-time NCAA champion.
Hands high.
Male Athlete of the Year when he was here, as Kyle Snyder has been the last couple of years. With Ohio State's programs, the national championships, and how great the programs has that athletic director Gene Smith has built here. 4 years in a row, wrestlers have been the male athletes of the year on this campus.
That's saying something here, because you don't have to walk very far on this campus to run into a national champion in any of the sports. In fact, I did today, coming out of the hotel today, I ran into the 1968 Ohio State football
I remember
national
Rex
champions.
Kern was the quarterback, and Jack Tatum. And that was quite a team, Jim.
Yeah, and Pletcher is really has an opportunity with that duck. Well, good job right there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and he is really solid. I think when guys push into him, you saw the slide by right there, and then there's a duck under the other side. I think, again, the more he can kind of create that in the center of the mat by pushing into a guy, taking territory, he's going to create a lot more offense in his career.
He was 4th in the Big Ten last year at 141, but this is his weight, Jim, 133.
Yeah, it's amazing how well he did last year, giving up that much range. Yeah.
Let's go somewhere, gentlemen.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the last takedown, just off the elbow tie. You can see where Glynn kind of pushes into him right there at the edge of the mat. Weight on the hands. Good work off that elbow tie.
Go to the 3rd period. Luke Pletcher leading 6-2. He'll start the 3rd period in a down position.
Yeah, quick escape here. Inside of 35 seconds, he'll be able to keep the riding time. Hard power stand-up. He's going to reach, cover the ankles. Did a nice job anticipating. Glynn going to the ankle, steps out of it, gets a quick escape. So effectively, it's an 8-2 match. A takedown by Pletcher would be a major.
Takedown and ride. Paul Glynn in on a shot, trying to keep that from happening, trying to come out the back door. The young Hawkeye trying to stem the tide here on this match. Luke Pletcher trying to get the Buckeyes on the board after.
And Glynn has got to try to keep his elevation. Didn't want to give up the stalemate, but that's exactly what happened. So you mentioned, Tim, the ride out, takedown and ride out, bonus point could be big here in this meet.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, you see the score 3-0 for Iowa, and you're surprised because you knew Nathan Tomasello was starting the meet out. He was upset by the freshman Spencer Lee. Spencer Lee defeating Nathan Tomasello, and it's 3-0 Hawkeyes. Luke Pletcher trying to at least even it up, but he's one takedown and a ride out away from a major decision, which would make it 4-3.
50. Go on your hook.
Glynn battling for a starting spot here on this team as well, so you want to make an impression that you're capable of going all the way through the match.
Work center, fellas. Work center.
35 seconds left in the match right now. Pletcher trying to work for a takedown and a ride out. Good fight by Paul Glynn there.
Got to call the stall warning on Pletcher. See a little bit of momentum switch here. Probably not enough to change the outcome of the match. Only question is whether Glynn will take that shot and does Pletcher have enough to score with.
Nothing.
Gets him on the leg, but short time.
And Pletcher gets a workmanlike win, but no major decision with riding time. The score 8-2. Luke Pletcher, Ohio State, the winner at 133. All tied up at threes now. There's your winner at 133. Luke Pletcher, 8-2. So we've got threes. We've won 2 matches, 125 and 133. Fireworks ahead at 141. Here's how we got it started. Nathan Tomasello, Spencer Lee, and a big upset there for Spencer Lee, and the winner